All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Night City Wire number 4, our live coverage here on the Triple S League. Lots of people are already active in the live chat. Great to see you all here. And there's been some questions about when this actually starts. Well, the CD Projekt Red stream actually starts in half an hour. We're going live a little bit early here for a bit of a pre-show, so that's what we're doing here. So yeah, for those of you wondering why the discrepancy between the two countdowns, that's why. Now I see. Okay, we've got some activity on the CD Projekt Twitch stream. I'm just going to take a look at this here. You can see on the left side of the screen, I've got a little preview of it. Oh, okay, there we go. Yeah, what is? I don't actually know what they're showing there. Hang on, I'm gonna bring this up. What are they showing us? Okay, some cosplay, some. Wasn't expecting this. Here, gonna bring it. Excuse me, gonna bring it full screen for you guys. I'm gonna turn the audio on for a bit just to see if this is anything interesting.
But we received hundreds more submissions online. So as you can imagine, the choice wasn't easy. In fact, it was so hard that instead of choosing 5 more finalists from online qualifiers, we chose 7. And now, 12 best Cyberpunk cosplayers are competing for the first place in the first official Cyberpunk 2077 cosplay.
Okay, so this is some kind of art cosplay contest thing that they're doing. I've been seeing lots of info about this. All right, but so I'll just leave this. Yeah, I'll leave this. Why is this? It keeps unminimizing or unmaximizing on me for some reason when I click away to the other window. So let me just fix this here. That's not the one. No. There we go. Okay. There are some pretty damn good cosplays. I do have the doggo this time, Renstead. She's right there, bottom left. Here, I can bring her up. On the large window. She's just having a bit of a snooze. Hey, you. What you doing? You want this? Here, you can chomp on that if you want. So, anyway, how's everybody doing this morning? Yeah, should be a good show. So we're expecting to see. Excuse me, my throat's all. Oh man, they do these shows too darn early for North America. I mean, I guess it's not that early, but yeah, was up late and had to get up to do this. I'm just not quite in full proper talking form. Haven't had my coffee yet. Well, I do have it. It's right here, but I haven't had a chance to drink it. Yeah, so should be a good show. We're expecting to see something. They said they're going to reveal a lot of details about Cyberpunk 2077 vehicles. Beyond that, don't really know, but there should be some new gameplay footage. Of course, there should be some announcements. We might see. Now, this is not confirmed by, like, this isn't from digging into any sources or anything, but I suspect we might see something about the expansions, the upcoming expansions, DLC, that kind of a thing. Either in this one or in another presentation that they do, maybe closer to launch. Although, I mean, we're coming right up to, there's only about 4 weeks left until launch, 4 or 5 weeks. So it's pretty crazy. And actually, that being the case, of course, the news is very depressing because it's all crunch, like all of the new news. So I'm not going to discuss that too much because I feel like we've discussed it to death. There's lots of coverage about it right now. Opinions going back and forth, people with conflicting sources about what's going on. We have our thoughts on it, and we've expressed those on the podcast. I don't want to get into that too much here. I want to keep this mostly positive. Have this be a nice hype stream about the game. But anyway, I wanted to actually look more at the chat window, see what everybody is saying. Benny Bronco says excited. Oh, you couldn't see her because you're on your phone, Rensten. Yeah, she was. She'd be pretty tiny in the bottom left corner of a small screen like that. Cyber Caliber HD says, so hyped, I just subbed and liked. Oh, thank you so much. Really, really appreciate that. Really appreciate that. A couple of you watching and listening from work. Glad to have you here. Don't get in trouble. Yeah, all right. Some more questions in the chat about... Oh, John says, I'm stuck in the parking lot waiting on the wife in the boxing class. Well, why aren't you in there with her? Why aren't you in there boxing her? I mean, it's like the only legit way for spouses to beat on each other. Should get in there. Let's see here. Max Darrett. Oh, hey. How's it going? Max says, I actually made it for one of these. Well, glad you could join us. Cyb is not here. No. This really, like, these get scheduled at an unfortunate time. And so neither Cyb nor Moontag can make it for these. So I'm stuck doing this solo, but you guys always make it a fun time. Witcher TW says, these articles will not deter me from my Cyberpunk 2077. I am hyped up. Well, and I think we should be. I mean, it's going to be a really good game. That's my prediction. I mean, everything from everyone who's played it is saying it's really good. Any negativity that we got about the actual game from mainstream media prior to this was all about, you know, the videos that they saw at E3. And it's like, oh, the gunplay looks sluggish. This looks not so good. This looks not so polished. Which you can only... There's only a certain amount you can ascertain from a video on, from a video on how it actually feels to play it. Max, they're talking about all the stuff about crunch at CDPR. That's the articles that they're talking about. Yeah. So anyway, so it doesn't seem like they can't really attack CDPR based on gameplay. The attacks based on what would you call it, social issues, I guess, are not really working because everyone can see that's nonsense. Everyone can see that. I mean, if you're concerned about progressivism in your games, then Cyberpunk is about... It's been there for 30, 40 odd years. So, you're behind the times, actually. The media is way behind where Pondsmith was in the 80s with creating Cyberpunk and what, so if that's your concern, then that's nonsense. So what do? Well, they go after the crunch thing. And now, not to say that we shouldn't be concerned about crunch. We should be concerned about crunch, but we've got Schreier coming out with his mysterious sources saying, oh yeah, this is the way it is. And it's just not lining up with all the facts that we're aware of. Now, are they crunching? Yes, they are. But it amounts to an extra work day every week for 6 weeks. So we've got to keep that in perspective, and we've also got to keep in perspective what Polish labor laws allow. And so when he says that, that the devs have been crunching for a couple of years now, well, what does that actually mean? That doesn't mean they've been working 16-hour days, 7 days a week for that long period of time because their boss told them to. That would be illegal in Poland. So anyway, I didn't want to get too much into this. We'll move on to happier things. Witcher TW says, I subbed to you and others to talk about Cyberpunk. Y'all keep me updated. Keep up the good work. Well, thank you so much. Really appreciate that. Really appreciate the new subs that come through. Let's see here. Max says, so I guess because Schreier got the Anthem thing right, that means he is right all the time. Well, yeah, that's the thing. Like, Jason Schreier really does, he does do some good journalism, but at times he seems to turn around and I don't know. I mean, he's got, it's kind of honorable in a way that he's got, he's got this thing against crunch in the industry. And I would agree with him that it is a big problem. But we have to define our terms and we have to have a reasonable conversation about it. I mean, if you're going to call every bit of overtime crunch, and then crunch can mean anything from a little bit of overtime to somebody's life and mental health is completely destroyed because of how much they're forced to work, well, we can't have a productive conversation on those terms, because then, you know, the meaning of our words just keeps changing. 20 minutes left. That's right, Cyber Caliber. Yes, he does work for Bloomberg now, Spaz Muffin. Yeah. Okay. So, oh, by the way, I've got this up on the screen. This is a nice screenshot that was posted on CD Projekt Red's Twitter of North Oak. These are just... Why? That's my mouse cursor. Why is my mouse cursor appearing above? That's not even the window that I have on top, and yet my mouse cursor is appearing on top of there. Okay. Anyway, regardless, there's something I actually noticed over here. Since you can see my mouse cursor, I'll just circle this. I know you can't completely see it, but I'll read it to you. There's a comment here that I wanted to address because it's kind of relevant. So this individual says, devs, there isn't anything political in the game. Also, devs, this game takes place in a dystopian city run by corporations that has gangs where violence and poverty is so rampant that it has become authoritarian hotspot with aggressive law enforcement. I don't get it. So sort of the seeming conflict between this idea of, well, Cyberpunk is an inherently political genre, and yet Cyberpunk 2077 is not going to be political. Well, again, we need to define our terms. Cyberpunk is an inherently political genre, as a lot of genres are, especially in science fiction. I mean, you look at Star Trek even. It explores the possibility of a future that is essentially a utopia where, you know, humanity has progressed to the point where they don't work and create and explore and do things for material gain. They do it all for just the betterment of humanity. It's like humanity's evolved to this point where everyone is self-driven and motivated, and they don't need money to motivate them, and you know, a bunch of other things. Earth is a one-world utopia. That's political, but it's not a show that delves into, like, well, maybe it does now, but when you go back and watch Next Generation or Deep Space Nine, you know, they're not talking about the current politics of the day, of the, you know, late 80s into the 90s and early 2000s. They're not talking about, you know, real world politics. So that's the difference, okay? So Cyberpunk is an inherently political genre that's exploring a dystopian future. That is something that we should think about, you know. What if corporations are left unchecked and, you know, we see all of these things happening? Yes, these are things we should think about, but it's abstracted from the real world. In other words, it's, you know, we're looking at a fictional world. When they say Cyberpunk is not political, what they mean is, when they say Cyberpunk 2077 is not political, when the devs say that, what they mean is they're not going to be commenting on current issues of our real world in the year 2020. That's what it means. Okay, they're going to be exploring political themes, which, you know, and looking at them from a variety of angles, and then letting you, the player, come to a conclusion. They're going to give you the situation and let you come to a conclusion about what you think about this issue. That is... So it's political in that way. It's not political in the sort of... I just finished watching The Boys Season 2, and man, did they starting at about Episode 7, did they get heavy-handed with the politics. So it's not that kind of political, but it's the other kind of political where it's exploring it from a more philosophical angle, a more generalized angle. Star Wars, yeah, exactly. So hope that all makes sense. I mean, I'm looking forward to exploring some deep questions in this game. I'm looking forward to exploring some, you know, being given the opportunity to look at things in a new way and come to, basically, I'm looking forward to this game making me think. There's a lot of the best games do that. Cloudpunk did that, and Cloudpunk was, that's an indie game set in a cyberpunk world that just came out recently. You have to make choices in that game. They don't actually affect the story. Things just kind of carry on. I mean, it's a low budget game, so I mean, it's you kind of gotta take it for what it is. But a lot of the dilemmas in that game made me sit back and think. Deus Ex was the same. So, that is, yeah, that's kind of where I sit on it, and I think that's a much better way to approach it. That's a much more mature way to approach it than trying to spoon feed your players, like, here's the right opinion, because you can't think for yourself, because you're a bunch of stupid babies. That's what they're avoiding. So, excuse me for 1 second here. All right. Ren Sten asks, honest question, how much Cyberpunk books did you read before this? I don't think I've read really any, none of the classic Cyberpunk books. I've read books that were kind of a cyberpunk-ish genre. It's something I've loved since I was a kid, but I wouldn't say I've read anything that was like, say, classical cyberpunk literature. But, I read books as a kid that were set in a cyberpunk world. I didn't know what it was called. I didn't know it was called cyberpunk. But then, as a young adult, I discovered Deus Ex, and it became one of my favorite games ever. I've always loved that genre. I've loved that setting. A dystopian future run by the corporations where, they're the ones really in charge. And, just massive towering cities with multiple levels and neon lights at night and that kind of a thing. Just love the setting. Always loved the cyberpunk genre. But I didn't even really know it was called Cyberpunk until a few years ago. Benny Bronco says, if it makes you think, it's definitely a work of art. Exactly. Yeah, so, I mean, it's expect some commentary about poverty. Expect some commentary about, various issues. Various issues that apply to the real world, but expect it to be done in such a way where it's like through the perspectives of the characters, and where it's not preaching at you like, here's the right answer, but maybe saying, here are the two sides, think about this. And this is something that I think is lost on some people today, is that there's no perfect answer. You even look at some, I hesitate to even delve into this, but you look at something like, okay, the capitalism versus socialism. Regardless of where you've come down on that spectrum, I mean, I think any honest analysis would say neither side is perfect. We're trying to decide which is the best, and maybe there's aspects we can take from both, right? I don't want to get into that debate, but what I'm noticing a lot in media and elsewhere on Twitter is seems some people, they say, no, my side is perfect, and you must, if you don't agree with me, you hate humanity, basically, or you're an evil person. That's not constructive, and it's silly. It's a juvenile way of arguing. Let's see. So, Cybercaliber says, I loved how The Witcher 3 was teasing Cyberpunk 2077 through Siri when she was describing how the city looked like. Yeah, that was a very cool little Easter egg they put in there. All right. So we are about 9.5 minutes away now. And I think, you know what, I'll bring up some... Yeah, they've gone back to the countdown. They've gone back to... They're not broadcasting that footage anymore. I'm going to bring up... I'm just going to bring up the video from last time, and See, Miles Tost talking to us here. Oh, there's some footage. Okay, there we go. The stuff we saw with the tour of the city we got in the last Night City Wire was just mind blowing. Like, this is unbelievable. The visuals here. Just gonna let that play for a second while I take a swig of water. All right, Cuckoo, hello, welcome. Spaz Muffin says, "Random, I know, but do you reckon there'll be any British NPCs?" Oh, probably. Probably. I mean, it's a massively. There's going to be a huge mishmash of cultures in Night City, so I'd be surprised if there wasn't some British NPCs. NPCs from most cultures. Most countries around the world. Of course, I don't know what European politics looked like in the cyberpunk world, so so I don't know. Maybe Britain doesn't exist anymore in 2077. I don't even know. Dracula says, we already kind of live in that dystopian future, but without all the cool tech. Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, I know it reminds me of that. There's a scene in Red versus Blue where they're talking. They're doing a little skit and they're personifying the timeline. And Sarge is the past, and he's like, well, we had good values and morals, and we didn't have a lot of technology, but things were great. And then one of the other characters was the future, and it's like everyone is terrible, but we have lots of awesome gadgets. And then I think it was Griff was like, I'm the present, where we have no cool stuff and also no morals. So I love it. It kind of feels like that. And I mean, I honestly, with how big some corporations are getting, especially social media and big tech corps, and we're feeding them, we're just giving them business. We're letting them monetize us willingly, and they've discovered how to make us addicted to their product. I don't know. I've somehow broken out of that. Like I really don't like social media. But I definitely used to be. I definitely used to be on Facebook quite a bit, but I can't stand Facebook. I can't stand Twitter these days. I don't know if I just outgrown it or what, but they've definitely gamified it, and it becomes addictive, sort of the same way video games can be. Notional says, with all those gadgets, I don't need to leave the house, so who cares how nasty people are? At least I can game in hyper cyber mega space and call everyone hackers when they head shoot me. Yeah, exactly. Let's see here. Some funny comments. Yeah, it's true. You're a hacker. Sometimes it's tough. I don't know. I was playing Squadrons a couple nights ago, and I was like, there's this one guy that just would not die. I could not destroy him, and it made me wonder if he was hacking, or if he was just really good. I don't know, and had an awesome loadout on his fighter. Funky Moyne asks, but who will deliver the pizzas? Yeah. Good question. Yeah, good question. Leonardo da Vinci. This is sponsored by Porsche. So there's the other there's another sort of interesting dichotomy there, interesting kind of tension when you look at like how busy CD Projekt has been with marketing this game, and product sponsorships and all of this stuff. And yet the game is kind of a critique about a world run by mega corporations. Interesting discussion to be had there. And I don't think, like, if you nuance it out, it's not necessarily, like, if you're anti-megacorp, that doesn't necessarily mean you're completely against, companies making money. Anyway, don't want to get too far down that road, but there's a lot of good, see, the game's not even out yet, and it's making us think and talk about this stuff. It's pretty awesome. Funky says, remember, you will buy the rope with which you will hang the megacorps. Yeah, who's making the rope? Good question. Pranay Kambit, don't recognize your name. Welcome to the stream. Says, car looks so good that I don't think they need customization. Yeah, they do look. They look really awesome, and even though we can't customize them ourselves, there will be a lot of custom versions of them that will be available in the game. There are a lot of customized, a lot of variety of cars in the game. I'm actually, at first I didn't think driving and vehicles would be a big part of this. Way back, I wasn't even, like, we're talking like 2 or 3 years ago though. I wasn't even certain if, were we going to be driving around, or will you just kind of get in a car and it fast warps you to a different location. But I'm super glad that they've made the city completely drivable, and that there's going to be a lot. They've put so much into the vehicles. I think it's going to be fun. I do enjoy a good driving game, and I know this is not a driving game. Like, this is not a GTA clone. Although, I mean, there's going to be some similarities. Obviously, there's going to be some similar aspects, but yeah, I hope they nail the driving mechanics. I know Notional and some others have said the driving mechanics look a little stiff and unresponsive. That may be. Again, I have to actually play it in order to get a real accurate picture of that. Plus, I mean, if they have good control customization, then that can make all the difference in the world. If you can control the sensitivity for driving, etc., etc., etc. 2 minutes to go. Yes. Is Doggo Cam live? Doggo Cam is live. I'll bring her up again. She's got tired of chewing her bone. She's just kind of chilling there. So she's become Donut Dog again. Max says the driving in GTA 4 looks good, but handles like crap. I haven't played GTA 4. I played GTA 5. I don't know how it compares. Blissful Soul. They improved the melee, so they probably improved the driving too, very possibly. Yeah. Yes, she was the inspiration for the donut ship. All right, folks. I'm going to bring up the screen full screen now. Let's make sure everything works here. I'm going to bring up the volume. Hopefully that's loud enough, and I'll do minimal talking while the stream is actually playing, but here we go. Should be fun.
You don't believe in no fate. Every day digging the grave. Stepping up here with the snakes. City of dreams, city of...
Welcome to Night City Wire Episode 4, the show from us at CD Projekt Red, where we talk about all things Cyberpunk 2077. We're going to start today's episode by giving you a look at just some of the vehicles you might procure during your time in Night City, and having a chat to senior vehicle artist Paul, who's going to give us a little bit more information before we take you behind the scenes and a look at the lengths the teams have gone to bring vehicles to life. We're also going to have news on an exciting collaboration. Then we're going to be talking about fashion and styles in Night City, before we recap the incredibly talented finalists in our Cyberpunk cosplay contest. We'll then wrap up today's episode with some news about Stadia. There is a lot to talk about, so let's get started.
Oh, I'm on the edge of my seat for that Stadia news, I'll tell you. Yeah, good old head tilt Holly, yeah.
In a huge open world like Night City, you need a chill ride to get around fast. And in Cyberpunk 2077, there are tons of cool vehicles to choose from.
Get this. 4-liter engine, 6-cylinder, goes from 0 to 100 in 3.2 seconds. You fucking believe that?
We've crafted every car and motorbike with amazing attention to detail. On the chassis, the body, not to mention the interiors. You can expect every one not only to look unique, but to deliver a unique driving experience.
All right, show me what you got.
Don't expect advanced tech or luxurious materials here. Nuh-uh.
Yeah, it's not the size that counts, I guess.
This class is mostly utility vehicles and low-end clunkers made for every pocket.
Hold on. It's a wreck.
My damn wreck.
Well,
Okay.
definitely no guy or girl.
The carjacking, bring on the GTA 5 comparisons.
If you need to impress, look to this class alone.
I'm putting my ride on the line. Either you match it in cash, or you can forget about the fight.
With these wheels, no expense has been spared, no frill ignored. Their plush interiors decked out in all the latest tech, while you get to sit back and enjoy the ride. Masterful engineering and practical design. Trucks and tanks for
Oh,
when you
yes.
need power and brute force.
Hell of a machine.
You can drive these things? Nice.
Beast. My pride and joy.
And these monsters are literally unstoppable. These are for chooms who love the smell of exhaust and the roar of street wildlife. Their powerful engines and exchangeable parts make them perfect for tuning.
Come on! I want to smell that choo-choo burn!
Whether it's street racing, running from the NCPD, or just showing off in the streets, with these high-powered beasts, you will have only respect.
Oh yeah, like that!
If you need speed and armor, the Hypercar class is for you. It means precise bodywork, built-in LiDAR arrays, and really expensive materials.
Imagine you're sitting on a pile of eddies. Probably less than 1,000 people in the world can afford the erudite.
Not your typical urban vehicle.
They will take you places you never dreamed you'd go. Oh, and original vehicles are not all you'll find in 2077. We also found room on our roster for some true automotive icons.
Floor it, V.
Product placement much?
Paul,
Those are-
thank you so
those are
much
awesome.
for joining us. I think it's fair to say we've come a really long way from Roach in The Witcher, so there's a lot to talk about.
Yep, there's a lot to talk about.
Don't
What do
you
wanna talk
diss
about?
Roach.
Well, let's start with the various classes of different cars, because in the video we saw there were things like economy and luxury vehicles. But can you tell us a bit more about their kind of design philosophy? What does each kind of class offer when people are driving them around Night City?
Absolutely. Depending on the variation of the car that you're either buying or stealing, depending on your flavor, yeah, you'll notice that they don't just look different, but they'll also drive different and feel different. If you're buying or stealing a nice fancy looking sports color version of a car, you'll notice that it drives, faster, sounds a little bit more punchy and sporty than, for example, a junkier version of that same car. It can have solar panels tied to the roof or some other pipes that are hot wiring some other, cyberpunk components in your car. And well, if it looks cheap, it probably drives cheap too.
So it seems that not only do the cars look good on the outside, but there's an awful lot of detail on the inside as well. Things like the dashboard. So can you tell us more about that? Because I know if you find a Quadra Type 66 in the city, it's going to look totally different from the Quadra Type 66 that the gangs are driving out in the Badlands, both outside and inside.
Yep, definitely. If you're about to steal a very nice high-end car, for example, when you get in, you'll see the dashboard light up nicely, you'll see your dial indicators revving a little bit, but that may not exist for a junk version at all. It may have the dashboard ripped out completely. No matter what your flavor is, you'll find something that suits your needs.
So what about racing then? Will there be racing? Because I know people have been asking.
Yes, we're absolutely going to have several races in the game.
Different
locations.
I thought they confirmed that a long time ago.
Driving in the Badlands. Maybe bring a Nomad car, because it's just built to driving in the Badlands. But if you know you're going to be racing in Night City, just bring the hottest wheels you've got, because you're going to need all the power you can get. No matter where you're racing though, you need to bring a gun, because this is Night City and you never know what's going to happen.
Okay, so you talk about bringing cars then. Let's talk about like storing and calling cars, because we know people can steal them. But what if somebody's found a car and they absolutely love this particular one? Is there a way for players to kind of build that collection? And then how do they actually, summon them?
Well, summoning cars works pretty much the same as you would summon Roach in The Witcher 3. Your transportation may or may not show up on a roof somewhere, but we're still working on fixing some bugs here and there. But yeah, if there's a car that you really, really like very much, if you can't wait on a Quadra or Type 66, you'll get a message from your fixer and says, hey, I've got a Quadra for sale for you, you want to buy it? All you have to do is drive over, pay the money, and you've got your very own Quadra. Not to mention that every single vehicle that you buy, every single player vehicle, is absolutely unique in every way. It's got a unique interior, unique exterior, paint job. It'll sound different, but it'll also handle different.
So in the video, we did mention there was space for a true automotive icon. Do you want to reveal what that actually is?
Of course. The car in question here is Johnny Silverhand's car. And Johnny Silverhand is, well, he's a big rocker boy and he needs some wheels to match. So we gave him a 911 Porsche from 1977, which means in 2077, Johnny's car is going to be exactly 100 years old.
Well, Paul, thank you so much for your time today. Personally, I think I'm going to try and balance being a super cool badass mercenary and driving a Mai, because I love that little car. I think I could do it, right?
Yeah,
I could be cool.
I was worried about the product placement
Mai
angle.
is absolutely cool as long as you stay on the road and not on the sidewalk.
If it's one classic car,
that
doesn't bother me so much.
See. In past episodes, we've said that music plays a huge part in bringing Night City to life, but it's not just music. Our teams went to incredible lengths to recreate and capture the sounds that really bring these vehicles to life. I mean, they might have had some fun driving them, but I'm pretty sure that's just a perk of the job.
I wonder how destructible the cars are. They'll get dents, get banged up. If you can destroy them. If you need to repair them, that kind of thing.
We started with the visuals, and then we wanted to attach a proper sound to the visuals so that you have like a nice feeling or a nice vibe of the complete car. And then we moved on to organizing the whole thing. Early on, we made the decision that we are going to record on the racetracks, and then we are going to record cars in movement. We started cooperation with Tomek Chopik, who is like very, very well-known racing driver in Poland. That's really a nice sensation when you're driving with a racing driver and then he pushes the car to the limits. Like you can feel the G's with the
guy in the passenger seat there is like nervous as hell. He's like grabbing the hand.
You can feel the car actually like bending the laws of physics. We wanted to record a broad spectrum of cars, so we started with the powerful muscle cars, and then we went to more screamy tuned V6s, inline 6s, and then we went to V10s. We wanted to grab the off-road cars. We of course grabbed some drift cars, just to have the more aggressive character in the cars. We had to assemble a sound group or a sound team that would make the placing of the mics process very, very fast, because we had plenty of cars to do in a short time span.
We had the team of mechanics from a rally team, and they helped us immensely. What they've done, they've allowed us to put the microphones into places that we wouldn't be able to access differently. Putting a mic right into the car They helped us to locate the places that are best.
Usually place 3 microphones in the engine bay, 3 microphones in the exhaust, and 2 microphones in the car. Cars are very, very complex in terms of sound, and it's very difficult to get all the necessary components that you have to make it sound believable.
But we were trying to look for something that would give us the character of the engine.
Man, the level of detail they're going into is just mind-blowing. Placing microphones inside the engine and all over the car for a whole bunch of different cars.
We wanted to use normal, organic, electric engine that you could actually have in the nowadays car.
We didn't want the engines to be futuristic, sci-fi-ish sounding. We want them much more organic, much more down-to-earth, something that would represent the combustion engine. And on top of that, we added small elements like the futuristic horns or like a futuristic UI of a car. It makes you feel like you are in a car of the future, and some car might talk to you, other car might have blips and bobs that will make you feel like you're in a futuristic vehicle.
We wanted to be very, very close to what Mike set up in the lore, and early on we decided to record Johnny's original car, which is Porsche 911 930 from 1977.
We recorded on dyno in control environment in a chamber. We could put Mike in very different places. Porsche 930 that we recorded is the only car really that will be really sounding like the real car in the real world.
We recorded more than 40 vehicles.
Not often do we record so many vehicles for a game that is not really a racing game.
Truth being told, this was the hardest part in my sound career, and I'm very, very proud of what we achieved with the sound team. This was something that we didn't do before, so creating the designs, creating the technology behind how the sound behaves, that's the best thing actually I ever did in my sound career.
I'm with you, Sword Sister. The amount of detail they're going, even recording the window motor sound. That's like, wow.
There has been a lot of talk about cars so far, so let's take a look at another collaboration. This time with Johnny Silverhand. I mean Keanu Reeves.
The smell. The travel.
Yeah.
Journey.
Master of the one-word sentence, Keanu Reeves.
No, you know, it's not like deeper.
I'm Gard Hollinger.
I'm Keanu Reeves.
And we're here as representatives of Arch Motorcycle, and we're doing some audio recording for Cyberpunk 2077. Arch Motorcycle is a custom production motorcycle company. What's unique about it is that the motorcycles are built on a production platform, but each one is designed to be able to be personalized for each customer.
Yeah, this does kind of feel like an ad, this part of it anyway.
When CD Projekt Red approached me about doing Cyberpunk 2077, they also spoke about integrating, they were fans of, or I guess people who worked at the company were fans of Arch Motorcycle, and so they broached the idea of creating kind of specialized Cyberpunk 2077 version of the Arch Motorcycle. And I thought that was a very fine idea.
I mean, let's face it, the Night City Wire is an ad for Cyberpunk 2077.
We have a motorcycle
so
we
we are watching an ad right now.
Developing called the Method 143, and so that I think in particular was a creative inspiration for the designers. So they sort of used that as a basis and then went further. So it has a totally different, crazy-looking power plant. We did a little customization.
It's good. I like it.
Today we're capturing sounds, getting some actual sounds of a power plant, drivetrain, and characteristics of the motorcycle, which I'm sure they will, have play with and stuff, but the source will be pure.
It has a sort of a racing engine in it compared to our production motorcycles. It has a dual exhaust system, and it sounds pretty...
Sounds good.
I could definitely blindfolded tell that that's the Method 143-ish sounding motorcycle, yeah.
Nature of the role-playing aspect of the game, I think it'll be cool, like, to be on a bike and hearing that, going through the city streets and getting into the madness and mayhem.
As with all episodes of Night City Wire, if you're tuning in late or if you just want to watch anything again, we will be uploading everything to our channels soon. Now it's time to talk about styles in Night City. Are you more kitsch or neo-militarism?
Okay. Alt Cunningham died for this, says Dracula, yeah.
Welcome to the brief authoritative history of Night City. This chapter is devoted to so-called styles.
So-called styles.
Deeply linked with the history of the world.
Oh.
And a very important aspect of life in the city.
We just saw some character creators.
You can find them everywhere. In cars, clothes, guns, implants. They are your war paint. As one of our sponsors says, it matters not if you're dead, as long as you're doing it in style.
The moves on this girl! Swoosh, swoosh! Slicing them up like sashimi!
4 visual styles are evident in the Night City of 2077, each with its own history, status, and features. Neon hair, illuminated tattoos, and chrome. Function comes second. Looks are what matter.
Stanley here with you, and we got another day ahead of us in this city of dreams.
The 4th Corporate War broke out, and entropism was born. Vast and deep crises forced people to find ways to survive by any means. Getting the job done, no matter how, was the primary goal. The look? Who cares?
I love this town. Love it like you might love a mother who popped you out on the steps of an orphanage once and now stops you to ask if you got a smoke for her.
Fuck them, fuck this job, fuck this city!
Deadly elegance without ostentation. Corporate, militaristic fashion, mostly seen in the wealthier parts of town. Substance over style, that's the motto. Celebrities, brain dance stars, business magnates, heirs to corporate fortunes and corporate executives. They abandoned the cold, deadly elegance of neo-militarism and returned to the roots of kitsch, but gave it a fresh, new look.
Oh shit, these hands. Sometimes it seems like I just brushed something and sparks fly.
I get the feeling that it's going to be some serious buyer's remorse with
Thank you
cyberware.
for your attention.
Yeah, you're screwed.
We wish you a very pleasant stay in our marvelous metropolis. Good luck, and goodbye.
NC's Legends! Know where you'll find most of them? The graveyard! Luckily, matters not where you're from, matters not where you start. What matters here is the walk you walk.
Just before this episode started, you might have tuned in early and seen our Cyberpunk cosplay contest finale. But just in case you've missed it, we've prepared a little summary for you featuring our very talented finalists. In the Cyberpunk cosplay contest, we asked our very talented community to cosplay a character from the game based on the art, screenshots, videos, cosplay guides, etc. We thought regular trophies weren't quite cool enough, so we decided that the top 3 will receive detailed props based on weapons from the game. They have been specifically made for this occasion, and the winners can do with them as they please. And now, the 12 best Cyberpunk cosplayers who have competed for first place in the first official Cyberpunk 2077 cosplay contest. Are you ready to meet them?
Some of these cosplays are pretty amazing, I've got to say. I have... Wow. Okay. That one was nuts. You know, you clean up the lighting and the quality of the video a bit. Some of these people could probably pull off a Cyberpunk TV show.
Now, before we wrap up today's episode, there is one more thing to talk about. Previously, we announced that Cyberpunk 2077 was coming to Stadia, and today we can tell you that it is arriving on November 19th alongside other platforms, and pre-orders are starting now. Night City Wire is almost over, but if you do want just a little bit more, then stay tuned right here on the Twitch channel and join us for our post show. As always, don't forget that if you've missed anything or if you just want to watch again, we will be uploading everything to our channels shortly, and we'll be back with Night City Wire episode 5 soon. No, actually, there is one more thing we're going to show you. Welcome to the diner.
So what do you want? Supercar? Big house? You want to rule this city? Well, you ain't getting anywhere without an upgrade. You need a softer touch. Stronger's fine, because taking over Night City ain't gonna be easy. I'm in.
Cyberpunk 2077. Available November 19th.
I want to see more of the diner.
Goldfish flavor blasted.
Oh, now we got an ad.
Epic flavor, tiny cracker.
All right, so overall, not I didn't find it quite as interesting as the previous ones, but there was some cool stuff in there. All the stuff about the cars was like the amount of detail is just mind blowing, and that's that's just the cars, and then we've seen featurettes on the different visual styles, the music, the amount of detail going into every aspect of this game, and then just looking at how massive it is, and just looking at the backgrounds when you're driving, those shots where they're driving around. Like, this is mind-blowing. This is mind-blowingly huge. Like, the amount of work and detail that's been put into this, just crazy. So they got a post-show coming up in just a few seconds here. We can check it out for a bit if you guys want. See what they're talking about anyway, but... yeah. So, yeah, no, it was not bad, but not... okay. Is it muted on my end, or are they muted? No, it's not muted for... I think that it's the actual stream that's muted. Like, you can see I've got the volume up here, so we should be hearing them. So I'm just waiting to see when they realize that nobody can hear them, or if they're just going to carry on.
Right on the video itself.
There we go.
Click.
Oh.
Answer whatever is on your mind.
Do
Also,
poll
you can ask,
stuff.
Yeah, however those work, magic. And you can also ask questions. So you can ask.
Okay, they don't. It. I don't know what's going on there. They're having technical problems. Oh, hello, Duggo. Here. That's... Oh, that's gone there now. Okay. So, yeah, anyway. What are your reactions? I'll read some of them out in the chat here. So, Forest Raptor says, listen, the details going into those vehicles is kilometers beyond what I could expect. I agree. Like, it's insane. It's just insane. I don't know, and I mean, I imagine that's, for a big budget game, maybe that's fairly typical, especially for a racing game, or I imagine with, you know, I imagine games like GTA, they want the cars to sound like the real thing, but, you know, I wasn't expecting it so much from this game, especially since most of the car brands are going to be fictional, but, really good, really, I mean, it's impressive, and it's just seeing the detail that they're crafting into every aspect of this game is just, I mean, I think the hype is well deserved. Hey, you, what you doing? She's yeah, let's put you on the big screen. Oh, now you're laying down again. I thought you wanted some pets. You're a good girl. Yes, you are. All right, what else we got here? Wait till modders get their bust hands into this. It'll mark the end of the world. Yeah, there you go. Cybercaliber HD. The effort they put into this game is mind-blowing. Agreed. Game Note says, super hyped for Stadia. Yeah, right. Lol. Blissful Soul. The style choices. Indeed. Sorts of... Yes, that is a doggy. That's my good old doggo. She's always here with me. And so she's been a feature on the last couple of Night City Wires here. Schoolman. Morgan Blackhand in the diner. I don't know. Did you see Morgan Blackhand? Would like to hear her thoughts too. You can see she's catatonic from the hype. She's just mind blown. She can't handle the awesomeness. She's like, I need a nap now. There was too much awesome. Funky Moyne says, don't ditch Stadia so fast. If indeed we get Stadia enhancements, the game could really look next gen. It could. I don't like Stadia's model. I don't like the idea of buying a game for a completely virtual platform. Dracula says, the guy that made the Royce exoskeleton didn't even get into top 3. That's surprising. I didn't get a good look at it. But clearly a lot of work went into that. But there was some, I mean, he had some stiff competition. It was awesome. Like, there was some awesome competition, or some awesome designs there. Let's see. Funky says, I don't like it either, but the tech and its possibilities are very impressive. Speaking about Google. Yeah, I mean, I'm with you on, like, the tech aspect and the idea that you can play a game on this insanely, you know, truly impressive hardware. I mean, the hardware that's capable of things that your typical home console and home PC is not. I mean, that is true. But yeah, I don't think it's a good value. I don't think it's a good value buy for anybody. I would not recommend anybody buy this game on Stadia. Unless you got, you know, money to burn. Ren Sten says, you know what Cyberpunk needs? Minecraft Steve. Oh, well, I'm sure those modders will, I'm sure he'll be there. Let's see here. So, Morgan Blackhand. So, who is... I don't actually know what Morgan Blackhand looks like. Is it the guy you're talking to in the diner, or did you see him in the background or something? Who was it that said Morgan Blackhand? Oh, I can't find it. Whoever it was, yeah, let me know what you think. Who you thought was Morgan Blackhand. Schoolman, who you're talking to in the diner at the end. Okay. Interesting. Interesting. Maybe. Blackhand, Baron Munchausen says Blackhand is dead, right? Well, yes, but technically, I mean, so was Johnny Silverhand, and so is Alt Cunningham. Well, no, wait, hang on. Gotta make sure I'm getting my lore right here. Anyway, technically Johnny Silverhand was dead, and some other characters. There's going to be some presumed dead characters making a reappearance. So, you know. Anyway, I can't wait for the news articles about the motorcycles and things, how CDPR is selling out. Can't wait for those to light up the feeds tomorrow. They sold out and did a motorcycle ad right in the middle of their Night City Wire and Porsche and all of this, and how they're hypocrites because it's anti-corporate, blah, blah, blah. Could I replay the diner? Possibly. Let me see if they've uploaded the video yet. Actually, oh wait, here's what I can do. Just bear with me for a quick sec here. I'm gonna bring up the stream. Here, actually. I'll put this on there so you can see what I'm doing here. Okay, so we've got Night City Wire 4. Oh, gotta sit through an ad. Okay, here we go.
behind how the
bike and hearing that going.
Smoke for her!
And into the cold.
This is still the style bit, right? Cosplay.
If you've missed anything or if you just want to watch again, we will be uploading everything to our channels shortly, and we'll be back with Night City Wire Episode 5 soon. No, actually, there is one more thing we're going to show you.
Well, yeah, Night City Wire 5.
To the diner.
Probably coming up before release, so.
So what do you want? Supercar? Big house? You want to rule this city? Well, you ain't getting anywhere without an upgrade. You need a softer touch, stronger spine, because taking over Night City ain't gonna be easy.
I'm in. Cyberpunk 2077.
Okay, not sure where we would have seen Black Hand there. Forest Raptor, what is Night City Wire 5 going to be about?
Don't forget that if you've missed
don't know at this
anything, or
point.
if you just want to watch again, we will be uploading everything to our channels shortly, and we'll be back with Night City Wire Episode 5 soon.
They did say that we'd be hearing about all of the expansions before game release, so that might be one of the topics for Night City Wire 5. But other than that, we don't know. They tell us.
Supercar?
They just announced it on Twitter, you know, a little while before Night City Wire actually goes live. Yeah. No, I don't know where somebody thought that there was Night City or Morgan Blackhand in there. I'm not sure, but I don't know. Forest Raptor says, haven't we just seen just about every aspect of the game? I mean, yeah, you almost wonder what else more they could talk about. Yeah, I don't know. So they've talked about, you know, the weapons, the RPG mechanics, driving, music, Night City. Yeah, what else? All the visual styles, and they're actually starting to repeat a little bit because they've covered visual styles before, or they've covered music a couple of times now. So, character creator, yes, Baron Munchausen. Hopefully the character creator. Dracula, we haven't seen crafting. That's true. What else have we not seen? What do you want to see that we haven't seen yet? Without actually... Yeah, like stuff without actually spoiling the game, of course. One sec. Need a swig of water. My throat's getting so dry here. You want to see katanas? Okay. Side activities. Notional says, I want to see the game installed on my PC. Well, November 19th. Sword gameplay, says Reticulum. Weapon customizations. Yep. So we've seen the katanas a couple of times, and I think that they... see you, Cyber Caliber. Thanks for joining. So the... katanas were one of those areas where they originally it was, you know, there was some criticism about the katana gameplay, but then it looks like they improved it second time around. Sword Sister says, do we have actual crafting in the game? I thought it was nothing more than weapon mods. Well, I think that I believe, yeah, there's crafting of some sort. Thinking back, I don't want to mislead anybody, but yeah, I'm pretty sure there was a crafting system plus a modding system. As Dracula says, yes, there's actual crafting mechanics and perks. Yep. Baron Munchausen, from the people that pre-played it, it was said that crafting was not enabled, so they disabled that for the. Yeah, so they're probably still working on that system quite a bit. So we don't know the details about it, or maybe they just didn't want people talking about it if it was in an unfinished state. But yeah, absolutely, there's going to be crafting. There's going to be lots of customization. There's going to be lots of clothing customization, and where you can actually modify the stats, or it's either you modify the stats or you modify the appearance. So you can have, like, you can upgrade the stats of your gear, but still keep the look that you want. You know, so you don't have to, you don't end up in that situation in some games where it's like, okay, this armor is way better than my current armor, but it looks like ass. So won't be running into those situations, or at least there's a way out of it. There's a way to change the look, to keep the look you want while still upgrading the stats of your gear. 34 days, yes. Style over substance, absolutely. Except you get both. You get style and you get substance. Well, I mean, while I've got this up, might as well, let's see. How long were they running? Oh, that's, okay. An hour of this is like their pre-stream countdown. The vehicles. Yeah, so the vehicle segment was so good. Everywhere I click, it's some terrible screenshot. These that you can drive these big beast machines is I like that a lot. Just go crashing into somewhere. Oh, I love this. I like that gold-plated car. Tricky Iwinel says, what style you guys gonna pick? I think that it's, yeah, I don't know. Whatever fits the occasion. It sounds like I don't know. In some cases, you might, like, there's going to be street cred. There's going to be different things that probably the style that you pick, the style of clothing you're wearing, might actually affect things. Might actually affect how conversations go, things like that. So, I guess whatever the occasion calls for. Forest Raptor says, yeah, I was really not expecting them allowing us to drive tanks. I wonder if you can fire the tanks. I also wonder if, I still wonder if vehicles can be destroyed or damaged. Or to what degree. I imagine there's going to be some vehicle damage for sure, but to what degree? Like, can you bash your car up so bad that it no longer runs? Baron Munchausen. Imagine the animals all riding around in those small cars. Yeah. Oh, that would be funny. And they all pile out like one of those clown cars. You get like 16 of them in there. So, Reticulum says it's all up on YouTube now. Cool. Go through frame by frame. Find everything. Find everything in there. Yeah, I do kind of want to. I kind of do want to go ripping around in one of those little cars, and I hope it has a hilarious sounding horn like that. Meep, meep. All right, well, let's see what else. What else we can look at here for still shots. More cars. Ren Sten says, I still want to know where the bozos are. Yes, well, that may be one of those things they're just, I mean, they didn't list them with the gangs last time. So, I guess it's one of those wait-and-see things. They don't want to spoil everything. Oh man, and the shows, like they must have just entire teams dedicated to producing shows inside the world. It's kind of crazy. I wonder how much there is. I wonder how much, like, if you sat down and just watched TV in, in the game, how long would it be before you saw repeat material? So yeah, no, very cool stuff. Very cool stuff. Hey, if you haven't yet, please do slam that like button. Really appreciate that. Also subscribe for tons more Cyberpunk content. We've got some fun stuff coming up. We've got part 2 of the romanceable NPC tier list. A lot of you guys loved part 1 of that, and it's taken me... it got delayed. Part 2 got delayed. But you Cyberpunk fans are used to that, right? So yeah, but anyway, I'm working hard on that. That'll be coming soon. We got another special, very special video coming out shortly before console release in early November. Before the console's release, we've got a special video coming to. Should be a lot of fun. So yeah, working hard on those things, but definitely join us on Saturday for the. What is it called now? Damn, man, my brain's just not working today. So, Augmented Reality Podcast, Saturday, for discussion about all of what we've seen today with Subsidian and Moontag. And, yeah, should be a good discussion on Saturday about all of this, plus whatever else is going on in gaming news. Tricky will promise me you'll make good Cyberpunk content. Well, we intend to make tons of Cyberpunk content, and if there's anything specific you want to see, I mean, we'll probably do some guides. We'll probably do some. I mean, obviously, we'll do some gameplay. We'll look at the different life paths. If there's anything specific you want to see, we have a content requests channel on our Discord server. By the way, if you're not on the Discord server, find the link in the description below. Lots going on there all the time. It's a very positive community. We're working hard to keep it that way. We're working hard to keep it just a good and fun place to talk about games and other fandoms that we're a part of, and to keep the toxicity and the nastiness to an absolute minimum. So yeah, we're working hard to do that. We've got a great team of mods. If you're not on the Discord server, join up there. Let's see here. I'm going to be your main Cyberpunk YouTuber. Well, that's no pressure, hey? Thank you so much for the subscription, Tricky. I really appreciate that, and yeah, I hope that we can give you the kind of content you want. But yeah, like I said, let us know what you want to see for Cyberpunk content, because there's lots of different kinds of things we could do. Anything from just let's plays and playthroughs to guides and examination, just examining the world, looking at lore and stuff. Like, there's so many different types of things we could do. Let us know what you want to see. All right, and yeah, we've got a bunch of Cyberpunk content up there. You can check out our Slices of Cyberpunk 2077 series. There's 9 videos just looking at different aspects of the game. Might do a few more of those before the game releases. Not 100% sure, but there's definitely, there's a selection of those, plus just tons of stuff we've done. So, Blissful Soul says, I'd love some theories. Theory videos. Okay, interesting. All right. Well, I think I'll wrap it up here, so we don't just ramble on for too long. But thank you so much, everybody, for joining. Please do slam that like button if you appreciated this content. Really appreciate you all being here. You make this live streaming experience a lot of fun. Hopefully in the near future we'll have Subsidian and Moontag available for more of these types of things. But they will be on the podcast on Saturday, so definitely check that out. Of course, also the Cyberpunk 2077 community podcast on Sundays. That's on our channel this week as well. So it'll be a massive Cyberpunk weekend. So definitely join us for all of that. Thank you so much, everybody. And I will talk to you later.